Today, I'll show you how I made the meteors. So here is my storyboard for the meteor showers. Look, dots for stars and lines for meteors. Not fantastic, but it gets the idea across. I have a note to redo it all in Blender. I apparently may have tried to do this in another program at some point, but wanted to keep everything in Blender as much as possible. And I'm not really good with other programs like Photoshop and stuff, so I don't know what I was thinking on that. But anyway, this was all done in Blender. Let's take a look at the shot. All right, you can see our stars and our sort of nebula of the sky, and one flies across, and then a bunch of other trail behind. Let's look again. Here comes the first one. You can kind of see the flame and the smoke as it trails. And then you'll also be able to see the same thing for the other ones as they come through. So you can see the smoke and the flames. I don't know how realistic this looks, but for me it was the right combination of realism and cartoonishness. So very happy with this shot that I was able to pull it off all in Blender. And I'd say let's go look at the files, but we're going to have a journey down how I got to this point without actually finding the file where I created this, because I can't find it. But let's go have some fun showing you my process. Okay, so here's my first attempt at meteors. You can see I used the dome again in order to create my sky. And then for the meteors, I had... So I just made a long skinny object and made it glow. Let's go into edit mode. I think I just took, I took a sphere and then trailed out, gave it a tail, and thought that might work. It did not. So this was my first attempt at making meteors and didn't like the look of it. So I didn't do it this way. I went on and started trying some fluid dynamics and fire and smoke, which is what I wound up doing. But this was my first fail. So this will be failed attempt number 2. If you notice up here, it says Kitchen Fire to Meteor version 1. Now, whenever my wife and I house sit, we invariably will do a picture like this. It's us trying to burn down your house. Now, the flame's not really there. This is one of the first times I ever was able to use the fire simulation to create flames, and this is how I learned to do it. I was just messing around, had an idea, and that was the result. So I wound up trying to use this fire simulation to turn it into my meteor. So here's the file, and if we go in here, this is the empty I made to fit the pan I was catching on fire. If we go back here, we see it has 2 keyframes. It's flying through my smoke domain. And I believe I had this set to be in an alpha. And I was going to try and composite it in Final Cut Pro, but this did not work out. So another way of me attempting to do, there it goes through the screen like that. Attempting to make smoke and fire for my meteor, and it did not work out. So let's look at attempt number 3. So here we are in attempt number 3. You'll notice I decided to use a pre-made background instead of doing a particle system for my world. My computer was taxed enough just doing the smoke domain, so I didn't want to have to do a whole particle system for the world. So I exported a shot of my sky, added it to this plane, and imported it as an image. So if you look here, I've got all my smoke emitters lit up, and they just stagger and fly through the shot. Now you'll notice right here how I have my camera set up right now. Obviously that is not the end shot that I had. Let me find my camera here. I either brought it in or zoomed it in. I'm not sure exactly what I did, but the end result is similar to this file with a bunch of smoke emitters flying through a smoke domain and leaving those trails behind. So while I don't have my exact final file, this is basically close to what I did for my final file. This is version 8. So I imagine I probably had one or two more versions before I got it nailed down. But the one thing I will tell you, if you want to take away anything from this tutorial, is the reason I was able to do the smoke and fire for these meteors is because I messed around and pretended to burn down my friend's kitchen. Playing around, doing things that aren't exactly what you're working on is a great way to learn and have fun and have no pressure whatsoever. So that's my advice from this one. Sorry I couldn't find the file, but one day my organizational skills might get better, or not, but let's hope they do. Tomorrow, we'll discuss a series of shots that never made it into the film. I'll see you then.